Chapter 21. Caden. Gray and I stepped into Tony's large, impressive office with 2 desks and computers, closet space, and a restroom. It was quite impressive. I wish I'd added a shower, I thought as I opened the door and looked around. With his eyes wandering and searching my face, Gray stood close and said, "Come here. Let's talk first." Just looking at Gray had my arousal off the charts. "Sit here." He motioned for me to sit on his lap, and I did. I leaned forward and reached for his neck and gave him a soft kiss and then a hard one. We pulled our anxious bodies apart, and I glared at Gray, breathless, wondering what he had to say that was more important than satisfying our longing for each other. "I have been a dick for too long, and I hope you forgive me." Gray placed his hands on both sides of my face. He stared at me, slanted his head, and smiled. "Do you know how beautiful you are?" Then, why had it taken him so long to tell me the things I needed to hear? Maybe he had said that before, but I'd been too angry with him to hear them. From the day we met, I knew it was you, but I didn't want to believe it. "I'm glad you were relentless in what you wanted and kept after me, because that was the only reason I opened my eyes and knew that my age didn't matter. Whatever you want, I'll do it. However much time you need to adjust to me having a child, I'm willing, because you were willing to wait for me," Gray said. "That's why it was never good to talk before. I'm having a hard time adjusting to the idea of Austin being a father to your baby," I admitted, without hesitations. "I knew that. It's hard for someone your age to accept. That's why I needed to speak to you. I want to marry you, if you'll have me." My eyes opened wide, my mouth opened, but there were no freely falling words, because I was in total shock. When my brain began to function again, I had but one answer: "I'd be a fool not to want a man like you. I'll take you any way I can get you, with or without a child, on your feet with me." Gray said, "Why don't we take advantage of this shower? I'm sure Tony wouldn't mind. He sent us in here for a reason. What did he expect from 2 hot men in love? Did he think we were just going to talk?" Gray chuckled. He wasn't going to get an argument from me. I rose to meet his hungry eyes. "I need you, Cade. I need you to be inside me." He held out his hand and I placed mine inside his. We entered the restroom, and on the eaves in being prepared. That or he and Parker are oversexed. "I'd bet on the latter," Gray said. "When are you going to marry me? Because I don't want you to get away. I want to wake up with you inside me every day of your life." I wanted this too, and it felt as if this was an out-of-body experience, and this couldn't be happening to me. It had to be a dream before, but now it was coming true. A man like Grayle wanted me, and he wanted to marry me. "Somebody wake me, because this must be a dream," I thought. I heard a banging noise just when Gray turned off the water. I reached and pushed the shower door, and now we could hear it. "Open up. It's Tony." "It's something important," he shouted, still banging, not wanting to use his key. We rushed and tried to dress the best we could. We were wet, our hair was wet, we had no shoes, and the only towel we had was the clothes we wore, and they were doing a poor job of drying us off. When Gray opened the door, Tony burst in. "There's a man outside who tried to abduct Amy." Gray pushed past Tony, his face red from the painful thoughts he must have had in his mind, and he didn't wait to hear the rest. He tore off in the direction where he'd left Amy. The place was in an uproar. People were standing around, whispering, wondering what had happened. The police had been called in, and still we knew nothing, until I pushed through the crowd to the next room where the police were standing and not letting anyone in. Watching the uproar, I heard someone say over the whispers, "Tell them Grayle, this is our baby. We live together, officer, I'm his husband." Grayle didn't say a word. I didn't know if he was in shock or what. "You asked me to babysit, remember, and when I thought about everything, I knew you deserved a day off, and I came here to pick Amy up and surprise you." "He's the father and we do live together," Gray admitted. He turned around to see me standing looking from the outside, and that's just how I felt, like an outsider. How could I deal with this, and with someone like Austin? Austin turned to Parker. I told you she was my baby and you wouldn't listen. You insisted on getting the authorities involved. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you, Austin said, blaming Parker. This wouldn't have happened if you had been a responsible father. You cunt, Parker barked, narrowed his eyes, and stepped closer to Austin. Then, Tony stepped in and stood between Parker and Austin. This is my husband, and he was trying to protect your child, and if you act as if you're threatening him. Calm down, Sergeant, we've got this, a policeman said. You don't have to worry about him. Tony patted the officer on the back when he turned to Gray, who was holding Amy. Gray glanced over at me, and I looked away. When my eyes left Gray, Sean had walked up to me. I was coming over here to look for you when I heard that there was a commotion at Wounded Inc. Given the climate and with all those veterans under one roof, it's no wonder. Shut the fuck up for once, Sean, and get the facts first. Sean glared at me as if no one had ever used the F-bomb in his presence, or to him. His head jerked and his jaw tightened as if to say, how dare you talk to me like that? However, he kept quiet. Good move, because I was in no mood to deal with his shit now. I glanced over at Gray, and he was handing the baby over to Austin and trying to make his way through the crowd in my direction, when the policeman stopped him to talk. Turning to Sean, I said, you got anything to drink? I knew why I said that, but I knew too that I shouldn't drink, because that wasn't something I'd been used to doing, even in college. When everyone would go out and get shit-faced, I'd stay in and study. People thought because I did that I was a nerd, just the opposite. I was afraid of letting my parents down by failing my courses, and I wanted to graduate, so I could get back to Grayle Meadows. When I looked up, Gray was rocking his baby in his arms with Austin leaning and kissing Amy, as Gray held her tight. Gray cut his eyes in my direction and must have heard Sean say, I've got everything you need. Then Sean placed his hand around my shoulders. Let's go to my place, Sean said, and against my better judgment I accepted his invitation and left Wounded Inc. with him. With a sad look in Gray's eyes he turned, spoke to Parker and thanked him, then told Austin, let's go home. Don't miss Book 3, my only in the Surrender series,